Okay, I guess we have our next steps. Yeah, I guess what I had meant to say was one person to put that forth, but yeah, I can definitely see why it might sound the other way. Um, but yes, we can do it in a decentralized way if we were to send the funds through the realms onto the DAO board multi-sig squads and execute it from there if we do proceed with that.
By the way, sorry, this is a parentheses. Volden Wolf is right here in the audience, so I think it might be a little premature to remove Volden Wolf as a DAO person. It's very rare that we've removed someone while they're in the audience. And Volden Wolf, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad we were able to resolve the issue. Avid, do you think that we can reassess for Voldenwolf another time and keep him in the DAO? Avid, we can't hear you if you're talking.
Could we maybe figure that out via text message and let Janet move on?
So how's this? Because I continue to have the Discord control and you guys can set up a proposal to remove that from me, I'm going to give him the role and then we can talk about it later. But is it is unprecedented to remove somebody from the DAO while they're in the audience. And sure, I mean, if Voldenwolf wants to come up on stage, he's allowed to come up on stage. But I see people that are still in the DAO that have not been removed, have not been in the audience in a very long time.
Volden, do you want to come up stage real quick? Give us a bit of insight. Okay. Um, I think that was all the. I think we're fine for our first topic. Then, were there any other comments for the realms to vote? We have our next steps, which is to try to get funds, um, to a squads to execute
Voldenwolf,
the
welcome to the
purchase.
stage, man. Great to see you. By the way, you're currently muted. I don't know if you can talk. You might have to do the press the V. Okay, we don't need to dedicate too much time from this. And Avid, I am more than happy to discuss this offline. Sorry, offline. To discuss this with you further, and we'll grab Voldenwolf as well. I know because he reached out to me that he had somebody had taken control over his wallet, and there was a concern around how he would remain as a member, but we fixed that. Um, One of the cool things about depositing into realms is if someone doesn't know you've deposited in realms, they don't know where your coins are.
All right, I guess we can proceed on to our next topic then, which is what is your vision of Grape? Um, and I think there was just one of the issues with this was just figuring out a unified vision to align the community with. Um, and there were a couple of good pictures that let me just post this here right now for you guys. The route that we want to take. We think this is like kind of foundational on some of the steps that we decided to take forward with Grape on what the vision would be and what process what where we would like to see ourselves kind of building towards.
This is really good work, CryptoPause. This is the first time seeing it, so I gotta read through it, but it looks like you put a lot of time and effort. I appreciate it. Kudos.
And we'd just like to remind anyone here in the DAO is always free to come up and chat, help us figure this out.
Yeah, we started that conversation on Tuesday, didn't we, Betanet?
Yep.
Well, if I remember correctly, we had some statements being made. Would you do you want that people repeat their statements, or what's your how should we do this?
Well, there was a lot of points made. Um, and I think it was just kind of I said this before on an earlier post. Um, but we just need to be able to communicate what is being done here. And this happened, I think, 2 weeks ago when we had that conversation. If our community is unable to let the Solana community know what we're doing and how we are succeeding, then that is probably a failure on our part. But still, I think a lot of work needs to be done to kind of put ourselves into focus because we have a lot of talented people here. Um, and I think there's been a misalignment on what we're doing here at Grape from the perspective of some people here and within the Solana community. So with this infographic that Pause made, it's kind of gonna give us a star to follow whether we're gonna go the incubator route for Grape or service provider route. Both are viable options, but we need to decide, you know, what we want to do because it falls into line with our funding. If potentially we go the incubator route, we might say, for example, we have 100,000 and this is all we're going to have to try to build the best products that we can in Grape and let, these other sub communities come in and utilize the Grape foundation that we have built. But the service provider would be something else where we might have a flow and the funding would be different. This kind of coincides with what we have been talking about the proposals for compensation. So I think this decision would affect what type of compensation we're going to be giving out and what kind of plan we can have either for the next year or two.
Yeah, I posted the last paragraph from Paul's post into the live chat, and that sums it up pretty well for me, because the main difference between, so for me personally, the main difference between the two approaches is that the incubator does not have the goal to be here for a very long time or possibly forever, but has a rather like a burning bright flame, but that will go out soonish. And the service provider doesn't burn that bright right now, but has the goal to be here for a very long time, possibly forever. That's the main difference I see. Yeah, what's the differences you see, Dynite? I know
Sorry.
you. What are the differences you see? I know you are a more gifted communicator than myself.
The differences. I mean, I kind of outlined them. You know, I'm not saying no one knew. Like, it's just trying to. It's always been about like conveying, communicating the message, and like flowing it. Don't just pull that and um, assume that not everyone doesn't understand. But it's always just trying to convey that message. How do we continue to do that? And what is the vision here of
Yeah.
Grape? So
For me, what makes this so important that many small issues we had, like communication, budgets, and structure, how tight or how loose a coupling we want between the main DAO and the sub DAOs, all these questions become extremely easier once we decide everyone knows which of these two we are. If we are going for being a service provider or an incubator. And that's why I think this is such a foundational question, in the real sense that the whole house of Grape that we are building rests on this idea, what the house should be.
yes, that's what I'm trying to see. What is our focus point? Um, I'm trying to understand. So again, I invite anyone from the audience to come and help illuminate this or share your thoughts on how we can proceed, whether the incubator or the service style.
Well, Pontius, I see you're active in chat. Do you want to come up and talk to us? Because this is really about everybody's idea of Grape. Yeah, Dynat Pause, could you help Pontius up on stage?
you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so man, we have so many topics on the agenda that is in the agenda for a long time. We we discuss many topics for a long time, and we don't have any conclusion on it. Like this one, like the post that Paul posted yesterday and the discussion. I feel the pain. I feel the same pain. That we need to have a direction as a group. Like to focus everyone. I feel the same pain. The cohesion. How to deploy the treasure and all of that. He posted this post yesterday. We have two posts about the vision of Grape for some weeks ago that is being discussed as well. We will stay. We will discuss this all our call, and we won't have a conclusion. We won't have a poll to see what everybody thinks. Like man, we we are only discussing. We don't take any action. We need to take action. If I feel the pain from crypto pause, I have I think we need to have this direction, know what Grape is about. But we are going to discuss all time this call, as we are doing this the weeks before. So, my opinion, we should take the other topics, and give it some action, put a poll to vote, take all the votes, and do the action. It's not that difficult. I'm doing it with some bonds, for example. I see the bond of writing an article about having a DAO board election, and we have 8 guys voting there. It's cool.
I hear you.
It's some activity. But we need to take action. It's not just discussion and discussion. That's my opinion. If we discuss, like man, I love what CryptoPause wrote in this discussion. I feel the same pain that we need to have a direction as a DAO. But we are going to discuss this and discuss and don't take any action. Like we are doing it already. We discuss every topic and we don't take any action. That's that's my that's a pain I have as well. And I'm trying to take action. I'm not now just posting the bounty and wait the DAO board and the bounty master to vote. I'm not waiting that. I put some pool to take the vote from the DAO members that you guys, the DAO board and the bounty masters represent. I appreciate all the job that the DAO board does and the bond master does. But we are only discussing. We don't take any action. We don't post nothing. Like for example, I post on on a on a proposal made by Legend about the
Yeah, you are kind of jumping between topics here. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. We only discuss. I put a poll there to see what the DAO members think, and what direction we should take. And that's it, bro. I think we don't take it. We only discuss and we don't take any action. That's why I think we should discuss
we could have
this.
directly moved to a vote after Tuesday's DAO call. Could have put a vote on, but I didn't say we should so, and nobody else did, because I think that it's fair to also engage the people in the DAO who only have time on Sundays to voice their opinion, like you just did.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's
And
awesome, you know? Like
I
if you,
also
if you
want action.
people, yeah, but if you only discuss and you don't take action, it doesn't matter. You know, you only discuss and you won't go, uh, you won't evolve. You know, like man, if you like, we have proposals, we can discuss it on the discourse. We can summarize the pain points. We can see the benefits, the, the, the bad things of a proposal. We can take all these and create a pool, you know? And that's it, bro. We can discuss to, man, I'm just saying the same thing.
I would love nothing more than doing away with all the discussions and getting right into action, building the best damn DAO tooling that's available on Solana. Building one user experience across sub-DAO and tooling boundaries. That's what I want. But on many different occasions, I have received pushback. And that's why I have been taking steps back until I've come to this fundamental question of what is the idea of Grape. And when we at first had the What's Grape Vision post by me, and then Pause made this more simple choice between two options. We discussed it on Tuesday, we're discussing it now. And what I would like to see is, as a direct action, to put it up on a vote to see, okay, one or two, so Service DAO or Incubator DAO, and have people vote on it. And
Yeah,
this
man, awesome.
And this
You
here is
know,
just so maybe you want a third option or you don't like it at all. I don't know. This is just here. So because this is an important decision, really
man,
important decision.
awesome. Really awesome, man. I loved what you guys are doing, like crypto posts with two options, you know, like you just need to vote on the first one, on the second one, and I would add a third one, you know, none of the above, and that's take all the choice that the member can take, you know. If you choose none of the above, you post or write a post on it and explain your vision, no? If you agree with the first one, awesome. If you agree with the option two, better, you know, like put it to vote and we go, you know, like we race.
Yeah, I think I said what in my opinion is the road forward, and that we should proceed to a vote after this call. Dynite, maybe you want to take back the scepter.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is always in agreement, always more action. We're never short on ideas. Um, and I think that's been one of the failures on our parts as well. Is just we haven't taken those necessary steps um, to move on action. Um, so I guess for this, we're gonna put this up to a vote on where we're gonna follow this vision of either
Man,
incubator.
sorry that I to
Please.
interrupt
Yeah.
you, no? Like let's put a poll now, you know, like oh, I'm putting right now. Do you want to discuss the great vision now? One, yes. Two, no.
Huh?
Like you guys want to discuss the vision now. Some people doesn't want to discuss the vision now. Did you get it?
I mean, sure, we can stop this discussion right now, but I think that it's a valuable discussion, and because this vote will, for example, one thing is a runway, which is pretty important decision. If we are voting for being an incubator, then possibly have a runway and we are burning money. And when we don't have any money anymore,
So
then we are done.
that's fine. Like if they don't wanna, if the community or the DAO people, the people here on this call right now don't want to discuss the vision, we can move on.
Yeah, it's
What would be
fine.
our next topic then? That's, of course, we want to talk about what the people here want to talk about. Is it the chapter X design?
Sorry to interrupt you again, bro. I'm not saying that it's a bad topic, you know. I just saying that it's gonna take all the public DAO to discuss, and we want resolve solve it, you know. Like that's it,
And of
bro.
course, of course.
I'm going off the the call here to listen you guys. Okay. Thank you for the time. Appreciate.
I guess that makes it pretty easy, or not that easy, but if people don't want to discuss the more fundamental stuff, then anyone can come up with another topic, right? So, what do you say, Dynite?
Yeah. Like I said, what would you guys like to talk about?
Hey guys, I want to take this brief moment of silence that the DAO board has created to, just kind of remind everyone that Grape is at the top of its game right now. I mean, this isn't in question. We have the most paid, like the most attention in all of the DAO spaces towards us. We're involved in every single essential discussion. Right now, I'm surprised that we keep on talking about these things, but no one wants to talk about the marketplace. I mean, Kirk has taken every single integration under the sun and made it shine. Say Dialect is showing off about how we've integrated them. It is just such a massive accomplishment. But again, what I love that Pontes did now is he showed that a very small vocal minority within our DAO is confused and needs direction. But at the same time, everything else we're doing is is dominating in the DAO space. I mean, imagine if we had to organize Athens DAO through this DAO process. It would not have been the success it was, and it was a massive success. I mean, that's why so many people continue to talk about us throughout the space, and you guys continue to see all of these different articles that are written about us. I mean, Kyle Samani recently talked about NFT marketplaces, specifically talked about our implementation. Um, Realms recently was communicating how everything DAO, you see Grape being the example. The reputation discussion with Civic and Lighthouse had us at the in the middle of it. A lot of the people who are brought up as competitors are nowhere to be seen. So I think that we're at the peak of everything. And what's very refreshing is that even with a perceived confusion amongst the minority, even with a perceived lack of vision amongst the minority, things grow. I mean, on Dean's list, and I would love for CryptoPause to share what he shared with me, what the feedback from our users, the people who have used the service. you know, when I finish CryptoPause, if you would want to share that, I think that's a very good story about how a DAO can get together, create a great product, and not even have all of these talks. You know, we have 0 DAO talks at Dean's List, but I'll let him tell you guys if the product we're giving is successful or not, and if the client list of squads, strata, streamflow is an indication of our success. So, you know, and then again, like there's a discussion around no communication. But then when Ponta shares the newsletter, no one on the stage acknowledges that, hey, here's the communication. Here I can see everything. It's much easier to continue to act lost for a few people. That's fine. What's great is that we can have people who are lost and still be dominating and still be at the forefront. This audience, think about it. We're not necessarily at the most bullish point in the market. We have a very big audience here, and the people here, they're the fucking cream of the crop. I mean, Voldenwolf, he doesn't toot his horn. I'll tell you guys later. Maybe he wants to say what project he's running. We got SLM here. We've got Sam, who's at the forefront of law in the DAO space. So I continue to be humbled by the kind of people that come here week in and week out because they understand we're going to talk about the best of the best shit. And Coffee Attack, you also pointed out how our NFT Council continues to do very well. I mean, those primate purchases were phenomenally good. So, you know, from my standpoint, I can only feel more and more encouraged by what I hear. And the encouragement for me today was the fact that, one, we established that things that didn't happen, and it had nothing to do with centralized entities. It was that the people who are part of the multi-sig process, the people who set the proposals forward, didn't follow through and didn't set up the proposal correctly. That's fine. That's not a breakdown in tooling. That's a breakdown in execution. We learn from that. That, for me, is exciting. What's also exciting is that there can be a vocal minority saying, I don't understand, we're going to fail, and yet the entire audience can disagree, and then we can look at measurable, we can look at metrics. We see the highest amount of Grape put into realms ever. We see the most amount of other projects integrating and talking about us ever. So from all of the measurable statistics, I'm very happy. I hope that you know, other people can share some of the happy things that are happening. I know that a lot of exciting stuff is everywhere around us. And we're doing, everybody is doing what they can to get that communication out. Again, Pontas shared what Dean's List is doing, so you guys can read that in the newsletter. I'm sure that there are other newsletters from the other sub-DAOs to share shortly. With that, you know, I would love to invite CryptoPause back up to the stage to give, you know, to share what he shared with me was the product feedback. CryptoPause, if you don't mind, if for whatever reason you're shy to discuss it right now, I'm more than happy to copy paste what you shared with me into this chat, but I would much prefer to have your permission or for you to explain it in your own words. Guys, again, I cannot, every single sign just shows success to me. I am super proud of what we've accomplished, and I think that we're, you know, going to continue doing that.
Yeah, I gather that Pause might be pissed right now that we are laying blame at his feet that somehow he made the proposal the wrong way. So I would be understanding if he doesn't come up.
Yeah. Well, we learned some things, as usual. These calls are always full of fun events, but I think what would be good now, Kirk, if you're able to come tell us what you've been working on. I think that would be really nice. Because we know you've been we know you've been putting in work from what we've seen. So if you can come and show us what you've been doing, or else I'm just gonna keep rambling here.
I mean, we can discuss Korean food to fill the void.
So what's going on? What's the deal?
Do you
Hello?
want the long story or the short story?
I'm sensing some disturbance in the force. Yeah, and the fact that people are asking me what's going on is also strange. And no personal attacks there, Dynamite, but it's a general comment that I'm making because we've done a lot the past, I think, 2-3 weeks. I've lost the dates and the days and the time during this period because we've been rolling out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with
Yeah.
what you've been posting.
So yeah, from one aspect, I mean, we've did something that no one else has really done before. And I've been saying this, I think, since January about what I believe marketplaces should be. And how I wanted to take a different approach from the beginning, and starting from a wallet and trying to understand what the wallet means and who we are as individuals, and then expand on that. The other thing that I was noticing is no one's doing these integrations with a lot of these primitives that are in Solana. And we can, I could turn around and I could build stuff and I could say that I did something completely separate. I did my own messaging. But if I don't integrate with a protocol that's out there, we're shooting everybody in the ecosystem in the foot because it's not going to be massively adopted. So we're taking a lot of protocols and we've integrated, and we're the only platform right now that has all these integrations. But let me start from what we did. We have a marketplace, and we have the first marketplace that we launched, and we decided to do that with another DAO so that we could prove this as a concept, that it's launching as a DRUG, and it's actually not really a mint, but it's going to be a marketplace just for the existing mints. And we wanted to do it as a proof of concept of how it could look and how it could work, all decentralized. So right here, if you go to grape.art, you're going to see, the first thing you're going to see now is that it all changed. So the interface has changed completely. If you're not connected, you could see the two collections that we're now supporting, and later we're going to support more. But if you are connected, it still goes directly to your NFTs and your profile, but you're also going to see a tab where it's going to have the marketplace. And what's really cool about it is that it's all in the same experience there, so you're not going anywhere else. And you're just going there in the same profile page. But if you go to the dedicated page of that collection, the collection has a unique experience dedicated for that. And that includes images and colors and graphics and dynamic stuff. But all this is actually loaded on chain. We're not doing stuff that are going to be centralized in any way. So we had to think very differently of how we're going to launch it, how to make it really fast. And we were able to do this with the tech that we had in a matter of a few days. And it was Something that I had some doubts because I wasn't sure how it was going to all look it, but in the end of the day, I knew it would make it one way or another. We just made it 1,000 times better than what I was expecting because we had great partners, but we have also people that are working with me in the community that have been contributing also to make this where it is right now. So one thing when you go to actually the Bears Reloaded, you're going to see that we have a video there that's playing, which they made, and it's showing on the top, and it looks beautiful because it gives you that immersive experience. I mean, I think Fractal does that too, and I really like that they were doing it. And I was like, we should do that also because it kind of puts you in the vibe of the experience of those NFTs. The other thing that we have further down is the dominant marketplace is Magic Eden. And we had to take into consideration the pros and the cons. To be completely ignorant about the current ecosystem is not the right way going forward. So what we do is we do query Magic Eden through their API, but they're a closed system. So we had to find some tricks to query their API, and we do get floor pricing because some of these people on the Bears, they're not thinking straight and they're listing on Magic Eden, even though they know that they have a dedicated marketplace. But that's fine. What we need to do is we have to show transparency. Then we have to show what's out there, and we have to show what the actual floor price is. And ironically, the floor price is on Magic Eden. It's not on our marketplace. So we are querying that, and we're showing all the data, so it's fully transparent. We're also showing all the history of what's been going on with the NFTs. But we've pushed the standard with Metaplex in order to support the transaction that we're doing with the auction house on chain. And we're able to query all this data on chain first, and then get the proprietary garbage from Magic Eden. Yeah, Pontus, it's definitely open source, and anybody technically could use it right now. But we're building constantly, so I would really recommend that the first point of entry is to reach out to us and be listed as a collection, and not fork it and run it because it's bound to break at some point or change significantly where it's not going to be usable in the future. So anyways, with regards to what we're doing in the integration side, we have the social component that we had, which is really nice. You get your followings, your likes, your flags. You also have the direct messaging functionality. So if I want to reach out to someone, I could click within the NFT, and let me send you guys a screenshot, and I can now send a message using dialect directly from Grape Art in the preview page, which is really cool. And if it's not listed on Grape Art and it's on Magic Freedom, that's the hashtag that we want to push later on, Magic Eden, you can actually find them in the history and you can message them directly there because unfortunately when it's on Magic Eden, it's on escrow. And you could reach out to the person and say, you know what, idiot, delist from Magic Eden and list it in the marketplace where it benefits both DAOs. Oh, excuse me. So that's as a standpoint of what we've done. That was like the recent announcement that we did with Dialect, and we're the first to do direct messaging with Dialect. Dialect didn't support actually getting a public key and posting it directly. So we actually pushed this as a new standard for Dialect to be able to do direct messages with their API. Plus, you'll see that there's a full integrated experience. The messages is on the lower left for every single page. So you'll see a little messages right there. And you'll see a message icon on the top. This is all I'm sharing screenshots on the live chat if you guys want to check it out. And besides that, the experience that we've done is second to none. And for this specific community, we've added a button here that says just list it, which I thought was cool. It's kind of like a Nike thing. And when you click on it, it brings you any NFT that you have that's related to the marketplace. Excuse me. So you guys kind of get an idea of what we've built here and what the potential is. But the potential is also for DAOs and NFTs to be owned by the marketplace to be owned by the collection.
Yeah, I believe we were talking last Tuesday about how to bring more projects on board um, with this service.
So the next steps are going to be to get projects to onboard. The potential is huge, and there's a huge demand for it too. There's only one player right now. Everybody else is non-existent. Even Solid Art, they're non-existent. So the future will tell. So anyways, if you guys went through all the images there of what we're doing, you get an idea. But we're making and building experiences for collections that are going to be unique for them, all under the Grape umbrella and the Grape source code. So we want this to be like a primitive for communities to have their own and have control over their collections.
Yeah, I definitely see that as being the vision of the future. It's directly related to the ethos of crypto. NFT projects should 100% be doing this as well. It's really awesome. It's really awesome to see it.
You know, as an ecosystem, we learn and we grow and we try to get better. But when we're in here, it starts off with decentralization. Magic Eden is not decentralized. If someone attacks Magic Eden, it goes down for everybody. If you fork Grape Art and you even run it on your own computer, it's going to be there forever because the database is on Solana, which is decentralized. The social aspect is decentralized. Shadow Drive is decentralized. Everything about it is decentralized. So it's fantastic that it could just work like that. And yeah, I think the next steps with regards to the marketplace, which is going to be an incredible opportunity, is to be to see what the onboarding experience is going to be for these communities that are interested. We already had, I think, a couple of communities that have reached out to us. They wanted to fork it, but we straight out told them that it's easier to just be listed than to fork. There's a lot of work to be done to fork it. It's customized accordingly. So, you know, it's, excuse me?
Can I ask a silly question? It might be super silly, so please don't be mad at me. Now that you made this super complex and full of capabilities storefront for the marketplace for the bears, can't we force feed it to the big players? Meaning, like copy exactly what you did for the bears, but for the monkeys, and then ask them, hey, give us a wallet for the royalties. And you know, eventually they will get interested if there is royalties coming in from that side.
So that's the beautiful thing about what we've done. It's stateless. So technically, we don't have to ask anybody's permission because we can show the entire collection.
So
and
maybe
we can
train some and pay some lower, you know, capability devs than you to actually copy what you did.
Yeah, there's no, they don't have to really copy it. What we could do is this: we can, all of them could be listed, and we can have a directory of all of these large, maybe OG projects, and they're all listed on Grape, and we all show that there.
Yeah, and then we need just to super shield the marketplace, use it, stream it, talk about it, tweet about it, and here we go. There's the vision.
Yeah, and that's it. And last week I was in a very interesting call. It was about NFT marketplaces, and it was Hyperspace that was on it too. And I was surprised because they said, you know what, we're an aggregator. They're not really a marketplace as a marketplace. They scour and they find the prices, but you can't list with them. What they do is they do the same thing that Magic Eden does. They put it on escrow. So it does leave your wallet again. they're not using the Metaplex program in order to list it. So in general, these stateless marketplaces is the future, but it hasn't been massively adopted yet. Only Holoplex, we do it, and a couple more. But this needs to be massively adopted because the marketplaces and the collections need to own their NFTs. They have to know where the royalties are going, and they have to know where the marketplace fees are going. And there has to be transparency on all the layers of this. If you're selling something, you should know who's actually controlling that marketplace in a decentralized environment. And this is a great tool to do that. And started as a proof of concept, and now it's something that really works. And I'm super excited because from everything that we've seen out there, and I'll give another example, the Jungle Cats that launched with Holoplex, they have 10 Jungle Cats that are listed. They were going crazy about their making their own marketplace. So they have 10. We have 100 bears listed on Grape Art. So for us, even the listing is just a huge success. The only barrier we have is that the bears allowed them to be listed on Magic Eden, but I'm sure they're going to change their mind in a couple of weeks. So I'm not worried about that. The future really shows that you can really control and have marketplace control their own destiny and their own perspective rather than just rely on a centralized solution. So there's a question if it could be an XNFT. If you mean for the yes, absolutely. The marketplace can be in the XNFT, let's say OS. We are exploring it. Basically, we're going to push the auction house program with Metaplex to be included because they did advertise Magic Eden, which you do want to use a dominant player in it, but Magic Eden is centralized and they're using escrow. So everything's getting, in this situation where it's in this wormhole where you don't know where everything is. Using the auction house, it's very transparent. So you're able to track everything. So yeah, we're exploring that, and also maybe on the phone too. So we're going to see all the options there. But in my perspective, I see that when collections realize the ability, which they're starting to do, they're going to start adopting it and they're going to want to be listed. And it's a big opportunity for our DAO to see how they could, the steps that they could take to be listed in our marketplace.
You think user adoption is tied to the number of projects that list more, I guess, officially? I don't want to call it officially, right? But what would be
Two things. This is a good question. I am first of the, I want an experience and I want it to be nice. And I don't want a same copy paste marketplace like every other place is doing. So I wanted it to look nice. And you don't do yourself justice by making something that looks half baked. And if I slap the Grape logo on everything and just do copy paste, it's just not, I mean, for me, it's not something unique. So compared to everything out there, we gave an experience that is unique for the NFT collection that we have. And we could do the same for any other collection that's going to board. That's one. Now, with regards to adoption, the other thing is understanding the market. And there are people that are buying to flip, and there are people that are buying to make a quick buck. And there are people that just don't understand a lot of these principles of decentralization. And they just know, for instance, Magic Eden right now, and they're listing there. Honestly, though, what we can do is if collections board with us, we could literally tell them you don't have to be listed in Magic Eden because Magic Eden is going to take the 2%. They're not going to share it with you. You could list it with us. Our fees are going to be whatever we set together, and we could split that. So that's a win-win for the DAO and their DAO also.
excellent? Thank you for that.
Yeah, and what you said too, I think is very critical. because when it comes to the experience, it's always about giving power back to the project, and the easiest way is to communicate to them how it benefits, which is
How many
in this
projects
sense.
are held hostage by a Magic Eden based on how much they're going to sell or how much they're going to overhype, and they just lose it there. I mean, I honestly see the Jungle Cats as a really good example with Holoplex, and Holoplex has the ability to make something good. And to me, they launched the marketplace, which unfortunately didn't do well. I really wanted them to do really good because they support the auction house program. When we launched, I took what they did wrong and wanted to make everything right with what we're doing. And we did. We just have a big beast to fight, and we're going to definitely fight them because we can. And I believe that people are going to start understanding. DAOs and communities are going to understand what the value is of actually owning the marketplace. And tides will shift. It's really important that we understand this first so that we could educate these marketplace, these collections and these DAOs to adopt our technology. And please forgive me, my voice is a bit crackling. I went through COVID last week, so I'm 100% back to normal.
How long did this
Oh,
process take you, Kirk, to set up Bears Reloaded?
so, well, look, I mean, they were reloading on Friday, and we launched it either Monday or Tuesday. What technically they should have done, in my perspective, is they shouldn't have listed from day one on Magic Eden. That was a big mistake. They should have just waited it out. And from my perspective, I think they weren't anticipating they would have an experience that would be this good with our marketplace, and they left it. So now I think they're probably going to have these delisted for Magic Eden completely soon. My perspective is that, and how much time to answer your question, we had a lot of the tech already ready. In the meantime, we were working on it. And I think back in like when was it? When we first launched Grape Art, was it January? I think we kind of broke the Metaplex standard, and eventually they did some updates on their end, and we had to move. I think one of the bounties was to move to the new Metaplex repos. So they fixed some stuff which we were going to use, so that we don't continue breaking what they had before. So what was nice is the tech that they have, we could query all the auction houses out there. So if everybody adopts it, we have a pool of data where we could use and list and sell from any auction house that's out there. It's better, the tech that we have, than what Hyperspace would have, because this is 100% on chain. And yeah, it is open source. We've done an incredible work with our RPC providers. We're indexing data too, so it's extremely fast for Web3. Yeah, so when we had the bears, it was on Friday that they were ready, which was also borderline if they were going to be ready or not. Tuesday we were ready with our end, so it took us 4 days, but then we were releasing features constantly. There were some bugs and fixes, optimizations like paging, where as you scroll down, I wanted to make it so that you don't load the full collection of 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 in there. So we had to like gradually load them. So we're loading the first 30, and then as you scroll further down, it keeps on loading more. So there are a lot of things that we wanted to do. Then it was sorting by names. The only thing that we're missing right now that I know is to be able to filter the collections by attributes, and that's something that we're going to add very soon. And I think just in our search above, we're going to push this week to be able to search for all collections. But we're ready. And one thing that's really nice is Fuziti is already working on the program for the boarding to the marketplace, which is going to be really nice. So we're going to have a program that's going to be linked to Grape Art, and that's going to handle the boarding process that's going to be on chain. all the assets are stored on Genesis Go. So it's a fully decentralized project. And I mean, our Grape should be, and our community should be really proud that this is us that did it first.
Yeah, it feels really good even to use. Even scrolling down, it loads really fast for it being, what
Extremely.
it is. So I'm surprised at the speed, actually.
I think it's phenomenal from day one, from the first testing that we did on the marketplace to where it is today. Like the compliments could flow in abundance. There's so many things that I could say about how awesome it is to use it, and I think
And there are
it's
little things that you might not notice, but like if you hover over the price, I'm going to share a screenshot here on the on the live chat. You could actually see the universal floor price, but also the Grape floor price. So you can see exactly where
yep.
our stand and what is also listed. So we have 105 actually listings that are on Grape. I mean, again, I'm comparing it. I'm not saying anything bad about Holeplex, but I'm comparing with theirs. They only have 10 jungle cats listed on their dedicated marketplace. We have 105.
That's amazing.
So that's amazing, yeah.
That
And the
is
only thing missing right now is we're just going to board the right communities, and we're going to get this to go to the moon. So I'm super excited about the potential, and I know that we're going to be able to do this together.
So if I understood you correctly, the search bar top you will implement soon that the user can search multiple collections or all collections that are on Grape Art.
So yeah, the search on top is going to be a filterable search where it's going to show you a drop down of the available collections that you can see. So it's going to be kind of nice to be able to quickly query and jump directly to the collection.
Okay. Because that's something I think that will make it easier for people to get used to it if they can have some main page where they then search for the collection they want to interact with.
Yeah, full disclosure, I went and bought a Soul Bear way before any of this happened, and I entangled it, whatever. And I don't want to sell it, but I'm so tempted to just list it, to just just to add to the listings. Not that I want to sell it, just so
The
that I could
nice
use
thing
the
is
marketplace.
that you can list it at a higher price. So list it for like 50 Soul or something, and keep it in your wallet because it stays when you list it with us.
Yep, that's fantastic. Everything about this is awesome. I also love the animation that you guys have as the at the top. This is a really beautiful experience. Having used Magic Eden, Digital Eyes, Stolen Art, OpenSea. Um, I didn't really use Alpha Art that much, but I'm not really interested or concerned about it, to be honest. This is fantastic,
Yeah, for
and
me,
a
like,
lot of the data. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you can finish.
There's so much data. Like if what Kirk just alluded to about hovering over things and clicking around, the activity. I was looking at it thinking, oh, how do I know how many people are actually using it? What's going on there. The entire activity log tells you pretty much everything that's going on. There's a lot of activity. There's a
And we're
lot.
gonna we're gonna we're gonna add more. So we're gonna add like 24-hour activity. We're gonna add more. Like right now, we wanted to take a collection and we wanted to see with a lower volume how we would work, and it worked phenomenally well. So now we move on to other collections. And the future is something that we're going to decide on what we're going to do. I mean, we're going to definitely make a launch pad at some point, but I want to make sure that we do it responsibly as a developer. I want to make sure we do it so that we can minimize the potential of having any rugs occurring. And I'm not saying that we need to KYC, but I want to see what the processes should be put in place in order to have a launch pad. Should it be a DAO? The launches, I do think that it should be a DAO.
Yeah.
So these are conversations that we need to have in the very, very near term in order to make this a fully fledged marketplace that also has a launch pad too. And
That
we could
sounds
be
amazing.
holding these calls weekly to talk about the DAO that's going to form with regards to it. And we could be exploring that. So, I mean, we're transforming Grape to be an experience for these collections to get discovered.
I think one way to put this that we are transforming Grape into an experience for other DAOs to discover is that we are providing a service to these other DAOs.
And that is exactly what is going to be added on, because these DAOs are going to start with getting their collections minted, but they're going to then need to do additional stuff for their DAO. We're going to be a one-stop place for everything related to DAOs.
I love it. It's completely what I see us doing and what I want us to be doing, and maybe the audience members can see how this relates to the discussion we had earlier of incubator versus service DAO.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of DAO tooling, exchanges are one of those things that I don't think anybody's even tried to tackle yet. And I'm pretty sure after all the work that Kirk and the guys have done on this marketplace, they'll think twice about it before they try and claim that something's decentralized with all this tooling, decentralized social messaging, decentralized hosting, the shadow tokens and all that stuff. It's not small. These are huge in every respect as far as I can see. Just my two grapes. Dinah, you wanted to say something and I interrupted you before. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No worries. I had forgotten until now. But what I wanted to say was the messaging. The countless times I have gone onto a marketplace and wanted to message somebody, um, for a variety of reasons, not only on Solana but on other blockchains as well, was just extremely high. And I know a number of people who had the same issue. So being able to have this in place is nice because, as you say, building, creating that experience for people, like this is going to be one of those things. And I think one of the issues I think for me was always just kind of seeing what is the first entry point for other projects into the Grape ecosystem. Um, and this is definitely one of those to kind of incorporate them into like what else Grape has to offer.
Yeah, one of the ideas I was thinking about, how do we get adoption going? One of the things is, the projects themselves, fine. That's obviously a phase of the approach of getting more projects that want to list. Okay. Then you have the ability to message people with NFTs that you like, that you could probably discover through the marketplace, right? So even if they're not active users, as far as I'm aware, you could basically go and find an NFT you like and message somebody with that NFT, which might notify them in their Soulflare wallet or however that comes about. Was the way
Yeah,
I
so they only
understood
get
it.
their message. They only get their message if they log into Grape Bar, correct?
Amazing. So I forgot to mention Soulflare. I mean, one of my favorite wallets, and I didn't mention this crazy cool feature that we have. So I tweeted about it. What is nice is that just like you would get like from those automated messages, which were in the past that you might have, if you interacted with our marketplace, you had these messages that were a bit misleading. So it
Right.
said that congratulations, you won an NFT. Well, we work with Soulflare directly, and we actually control the messaging. And we're sending messages when you list, when you make an offer, and also when you're outbid. So the person that gets outbid gets a message to tell them that they've been outbid during the process of interacting with an NFT, which is really nice and really cool and very convenient. I mean, Phantom hasn't done that. And it's nice. And I do appreciate other wallets besides Phantom. I mean, Glow has been a good wallet. And Soulflare, though, they've been an amazing team to work with, and they really interact with the community. So, I mean, I'm really super excited of the fact that we're able to do this in a wallet basis too. But Dialect takes it a step further because you're able to send those messages, and you could, excuse me, start the messages. You do have to pay a fee, but you could get it back when you could close the message out and you could get the fee back. So it's going to close the message to the recipient also. So I would recommend that you wait till you get a response, and then you could just withdraw and close out the message from holding it. If you guys don't know where that's at, let me send you guys a message. You would open up, let's say here I have a message that I sent with Jaris, and let me show you where you would get withdraw and delete the history. Share that. So you would claim actually the rent that you've deposited, you get it back. So it's not like it's lost rent.
Yeah.
So it's really the cost of interacting is really, really low.
And just to clarify, the user that you're sending the message to does not necessarily need to have used GrapeArt before, right? They could get the message because it'll end up going to their wallet theoretically. Like there might
What
be a
is
notification. Am I
So
correct in
what's
that?
nice is we've worked closely with Dialect, who brought them in touch also with Soulflare, so they've partnered with Soulflare too. Those do get to the wallet using Dialect, and if they're using Dialect, which many people have started using it also through Realms, because Realms supports it too,
Yep.
Solana governance. It's going to just work, and you're going to get notified whether you've connected through Telegram or your email or actually a phone too, because Dialect also works with Notify.
Yeah. So if I have, for instance, if I find an NFT that I really like, and maybe the person hasn't even listed it yet, I could theoretically find it and send them a message, tell them I really like your NFT and here's an offer.
Yeah, and you know what? The way we built GrapeArt, because it starts from your wallet, you could actually search by mint address too.
Yep.
We actually write it on the top search. So if you type in mint colon whatever,
Yep.
you'll be able to
That's
actually
so
bring
cool.
any mint address that you want. So you'll be able to see any NFT and send some offers. I think I'm going to send some offers to Dean's
Yeah.
region. See what happens there.
I had sent one to a customized. I'm not going to tell you guys which project it was because I'm still hoping they'll get it. They'll give it to me. But there was a Grape custom NFT that had been set up, and I was trying to send them the offer through the marketplace a while ago before all these features were launched. So I'm going to try that again, and that might be an organic way of using the tooling, right? Like maybe I won't buy an NFT again until the person accepts through GrapeArt, right? Uh, it's a tough sell, but it's one way of going about it. It's nice.
One more thing that we've done that's unique, and I wanted to think outside the box. And every other marketplace out there is doing a copy paste. They have their own escrow, or when they set up an auction house, they do it universally. What we're doing here in Grape Art, for each collection, we're making a separate auction house for them. So the fees could be completely unique for each marketplace. And we're completely transparent when you're interacting. So when you're going to go to sell one of those, let's say bears or whatever it is, we'll show you all the details of how the fees are distributed with regards to, let me show you, with the marketplace and also with the other DAO. So this is one of the NFTs that I have that I've listed, and I'm sharing it in the live chat. You could hover over the price as a seller and you could see this. And when you want to go and sell, you could see that when you press the sell now button. So you see the marketplace is 1% and 50% is shared with the respective DAO.
That's incredible.
You can't do this anywhere.
That there's transparency for you, right? That's phenomenal. I think Tuesday's call should be centered around finding out whether or not we want to target other projects to try and start talking to and bringing them closer to the equation. What would you feel comfortable with something like that, Kirk? If two more projects were to appear on the horizon and said, "Hey, we want to list on GrapeArt," would there be any objection to that?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. We do need, which I'll share with you. We need some information from them. We need a mint list and some additional information, including graphics. And if they could make a nice video like the one that we have with the bears, we'll take it a step further by showing a video like we're doing with the bears. So we make it more of an interactive experience. We're also exploring how we could include color coding and see what other customizations we could do. But we want to make this an experience and not something that's going to be copy paste.
Awesome.
So will the format be the same, like for each new project? Say I have a project coming in, is it going to be like the same format, or could I say, I want the information at the top, the video in the middle, and then the collection coming down, or maybe having the video play in the background?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I haven't customized it yet, so you could position the videos or the graphics at a different place. But we do have a JSON file, and it's a specific format, so I could share that with you guys. You could see what it looks like, and we could take it from there.
Yeah, I was just curious. Okay. This is awesome. This is really awesome. From a marketing standpoint, it's easy to market when you have like the product already there working.
Yeah, and Pandas makes a good point there. We also have the CC sub DAO. I mean, we can have our own sub DAO make those videos, and it brings revenue to the DAO itself. We could have creatives that are made by the DAO. So, I mean, the potential here is tremendous of what we could do. So, by working together and working with all these different sub DAOs that we have, we can make an experience where it could be a one-stop shop, and they don't have to actually find graphics designers from somewhere else.
Yeah, how-to videos seem like a really good next step in case, people don't know how to use it. It's like, okay, well, here's the easy next step. And then also identifying projects that might be on the fence about other marketplaces they're on. And I don't know, maybe there's value in broadcasting, calling all projects interested, maybe a handful of them targeted. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't ask whales. Maybe you're right. I'm just throwing out ideas.
So there's an avenue where we go and talk to like big name NFT projects within Solana and have them incorporate this because this is utility for that project.
Yeah, and they save on the fees. They can connect it to a realms. There's all these different things that are beneficial, especially if they're a DAO run NFT.
What Wales said is on point. We want everything to flow through Grape because the experience is going to be there. Plus, if you have a collection that's exclusively with like on Grape Art, and it's not saying that it's closed. If it's on Grape Art, anybody could buy it. It's using the Metaplex program that we have. It's not closed like Magic Eden that you have to use Magic Eden to buy it, and you have to use your escrow. With the auction house program that we have, you could go on Solon Art and you go to the mint, and you can buy it from Solon Art. But the nice thing is the fees will be tied to our auction house. So the fees come back to us, which are going to be split with the respective DAO. But his point is there exactly that we can break this up and we have the mint, the list, the DAO, treasury, and verification. All these, they're tied together. And it's a full experience for DAOs.
My mind is blown, so forgive me if I'm not coming up with anything productive to add to the conversation. I'm trying to take it all in. You've done a fantastic job, and I've been following all your tweets, so seeing it and then hearing
So
it are two different things.
someone asked us, I think it was 2 weeks ago, if we should reach out to to Holoplex to talk to them, and they actually reached out to us the other way around. But in all honesty, in 2 days we outfeatured them once we launched this. And day 4, I mean, we did incredible things. We have dialect. We have a whole bunch of other integrations. Imagine what we're going to do in a month. So we're just beginning, guys.
Yeah, this needs a few more hands focusing on some of the things that could probably add to it and steamroll.
So I know Pontus asked a couple of times, but what could the community do to help you out? Like, what is there anything that you need?
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah.
So I think there are a few things that we're going to probably have to do. We're going to, one is we're going to have a flow, and that's what we're working. One of our community members that is completing one of the bounties He's actually, we changed the bounty a bit. It's the first program we're going to have. It's going to be for the boarding process. So that is on chain. So what's going to happen is the communities could apply to be listed in our collection and fill out the information. This is going to be on chain. And then there's going to be a vote to actually list it and to show it on Grape Art. So this is going to also be on chain. So when the DAO actually votes to have it listed, or the sub DAO has it listed, then it's going to display on Grape Art. So once we have this program ready, I think we could definitely work together in order to make the processes and educating people to where they go and where they click the button would be a good first step. Right now, we could technically add a button where it's going to say board and it directs them to our Discord. Or we could have a pop-up and give them some information. We just have to see exactly what the best flow is going to be temporarily until we launch the program. So I think in a week or two, we'll be very close to launch the program, so we should have this all on chain. Does anybody have any questions from the community? I'll be happy to answer them also. I mean, we've done a lot. I mean, I believe that I think 2 weeks ago, no one even believed that we could do this. We've done an amazing project. I really like the first one that was launched with the bears. They had really nice artwork, but more communities are going to come. More communities are going to be boarded. We are Grape and we are attracting communities, and we're going to continue to attract communities. But it shows what we could develop. And in the bear market, if we could do this, imagine what we're going to be doing in a bull market where the attention is really going to be going back to crypto. That's an interesting perspective that Wales has. So he's saying that we have the degens, we have all these communities, which some of them are not really DAOs. I mean, most of them are not DAOs, but we have it as a place of like a point of reference there. This is what could be done, and maybe the monkeys also. That's an interesting approach. We have to explore that for sure. So is there anybody with this belief though? Because I was seeing some pessimistic comments in here. Does anybody think that we're not developing or not fixing stuff or trying to make Grape great? I'll be happy to answer those.
Yeah, I think it was just like people wanted like a focal point, but this is definitely something that we can kind of focus on.
Well, let's focus on this, guys, because we got a lot to grow and a lot of stuff to do together. This is a definition of what a DAO is, and there's a lot more stuff that could be done by a lot of people, and a lot of feedback that we could get. And I've been getting feedback from Pontes and also by Paulson with stuff that maybe we're not showing right or not working well or whatever, and we fixed it right away. So the more feedback we get, the better. And once we have everything in place and we actually build the steps with how we're going to board communities, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that boarding process is gonna look like. especially if it's going to be like their first introduction into what the Grape provides. So all right, if there are no other questions for Kirk,
Yeah, I'm going to step down. I'm going to go to the audience then. But besides that, we have, we've done some changes also in the dashboard. The UI has slightly, the menu on the top is slightly changed. So we moved the streaming, and the streaming right now seems to be broken until the folks at MeetFi fix it. We've been waiting for them to fix it for the past couple of months. So it's more on what we have, but we're going to also be focusing, putting attention also on the dashboard. You're going to see some changes there coming very soon too. Take care, guys. I'm going to be in the audience.
thanks. All right, did anyone have any final comments or full on what we talked about during this DAO call? The call would end in around 13 minutes, but I think now would be a good stopping point unless anyone had any final comments.
Well, the upcoming vote would be nice to mention.
You vote for the service or the incubator route? Or
Yes.
which sort of you? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so we have an upcoming vote, incubator versus service provider. Will be on chain soon. And everybody is excited about the new tech and the marketplace. So have a nice Sunday.
You too, guys. Just an FYI, most open source models use the service route because they provide everything open source, and then they provide services to be able to support the solution because they have expertise, in case that's relevant.
Bye-bye.
Have a great Sunday, guys. Thank you all.